Okay guys, the purpose of this video is to illustrate a concept that I call short scouting, and I think this is really important for anybody who wants to use a little bit of finesse in their scouting game to learn how to do this and what's needed in order to accomplish it. Now, I'm platooned this battle with a Hummel and a KV-2, and it's just like the old days in my A-20. You know, I'm pleased to go up against tier 8s again. I think it's justified, and for at least this tank and this crew. And I had a little fun in this fight. And the first thing to notice is that the Hummel is pre-aiming where some tanks might appear at the start of the battle, and I'm going to go up there and illuminate them. So we'll look at that first. And I've got 40 FPS in fraps, which is the most I can manage with my current hardware configuration. It's pretty decent in 1080p on YouTube, so until I get better hardware, I'm going to stick with that combo. And you'll just see the MT25 is a little bit ahead of me there. I'm a little jealous, but this is pretty normal scouting. And the Hummel reloads quickly, and watch the shell come down. There's the hit, and he's probably not liking that right at the start of the battle, but that's just the way things are. So I'm going to fast forward here. In a lot of fights, I just drive around in circles examining the layout, and people used to yell at me to start scouting. But all I'm doing here is I'm seeing where can I break through and go after their Hummel, and I've already made my decision to go this way because there is a pretty strong force here on the beach. You know, I wouldn't like that, but they're down here, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So I tell them to wipe the ELC, because I can't go past until that thing is gone. A lot of scouts won't wait, but I will wait. And sometimes you never get your opportunity, but that's fortunes of war. So I'm building up speed here. And that's why I backed up. So there, he's gone, and now I'm at full... I guess I decided to wait for the Fury. You can see our team is in a bit of trouble, but one of the things, if you're a scout, you have to have the patience to stick around for the end game. So there, the Super P saw me, but I'm going after their Arty. And in the later stages, obviously, with fewer vehicles, that Arty gets more and more effective, right, as things proceed. I had to check for them there. They sometimes hide in that bush. We'll just see this. And I'll leave the fixed camera on when I take on this Hummel so you can watch what happens here. There he is. And a bounce. Gold round bounces off the side. Absurd. I mean, this shell has pretty good pen. It's well over 100. And I'm wasting gold rounds there. Okay, now the situation has developed rapidly here, so there's very few vehicles left on either side. And now Pete and I were talking, should I help the jumbo down there or disengage? And you know, it's an obvious call. I can't take those guys on, so I have to disengage and race back to my friends. So I'm just going to hit the 2x speed here and get the bleep out of here. And I got a bonus because the T-150, it turned out he was not reinforcing strength. He was freelancing in another part of the map, which is always a bad idea. And he's going to get wiped out here. Okay, now this is where the short scouting begins. And I've done this on countless occasions in the later stages. And sometimes in the early stages you can do it. And I'm just going to go to the garage here and explain a few things. Okay, so we're here in the garage, and I just spammed my Panic clanmates telling them they're in this video. What I want to show you is my crew skills. So you can see that basically I've got 5 skills. The 5th one is firefighting, because I don't carry a fire extinguisher. I always run with the Governor and the Lunley soil, for the reason being that I prize mobility above all other things. So if you're looking at concealment here, which they changed from camo, you know, the numbers are very good for this vehicle. And the spotting, the view range is 401 in the A20 with everything that you can possibly get. The mobility is right up there with the MT25 and a Bat Chat. it's not quite as good as the LTTB, which has higher numbers. So with the governor off and the Lend-Lease oil, which apply to this situation, you've got almost 32 horsepower per ton. Now, in that battle that we were in, I was up against 7s and 8s. Now, if you look at this number here, it's 401. Now, if you combine that with my concealment, I can drive reasonably close to those people without being spotted. That's the way the game engine works currently until they change it. So we'll go back to the fight here, and I'll show you the way I'm driving in order to spot them without being seen, and my teammates get essentially free shots out of it. So we'll take a look at that now. Okay, we're back in the battle, and I'm about to do the short scouting that I talked about, and I changed the color of the enemy from red to purple because the video processing, it's more crisp. Purple is more crisp than red. So I'm going to run this at twice normal speed, and what I want to show you is that I can spot them and they will not see me, and they're going to get killed by the KV2 here in the ISU. And I told those guys that I'm not very good at figuring out sight lines, so they had to choose, or I told put your moose away, that you know, he'd have to choose what he considered to be the best firing position, and it was all good. And you know, we've got a field of fire here. It's open, and we'll just see how this goes. So I'm going to hit the space bar here, and just going to drive back and forth. You know, it's a little bit boring, but really, this is really the only way to do it, in my opinion. I like to preserve my velocity. Oops, that's what happens when you're not looking where you're going. That happens a lot in scouting. So I think Pete told me to check the beach, and we'll see that in a second. So I think I'm headed over there right now. Nobody has appeared yet. And I'd be interested if anyone has comments about what they think, if there was a way for them to, okay, there's nobody on the beach, if there was a way for those guys to defeat this combo, I'd be interested to hear about it. So, okay, there is the Super P, and I don't know if I can get a distance. You know, I think it's about 300 meters, but he can't see me, and you will see that my sixth sense does not go off. And there's a miss. I don't know who fired that. So I'm going to keep my distance here. There, and there's the IS-2. And you'll notice that neither of them saw me. And the TD, the Tier 7 TD, the ISU-122S, you know, he hasn't appeared at the same time. So you'll see my sixth sense is not going off. And, you know, this is you got to exercise at the utmost patience here. I'm not going to go any closer to those people for obvious reasons, as I pointed out. So there, he's spotted again, and this time I can check the distance. 304 meters, okay? And there, he's gone. And there's the IS. Let me check the distance there. Also 301 meters. And there we are. Now, there I was spotted. So you could say that their effort to destroy us required exquisite timing, and the timing was off. You know, that's very hard to organize in pubs because none of them were platooned. I mean, I've been in situations in late games where I platoon up with people. I form a dynamic platoon with 3 guys left, and you know, talk to them if I can using the in-game voice chat. But that didn't happen in this fight, obviously. So their timing was off, and I'm going to show you. I made a mistake. I got over eager here, and I wanted to kill this guy. I've got gold rounds. I can easily wipe him out, but I got too close. I was too eager. You know, I should have taken my time here, and watch what happens. Boom. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you're going to scout, I consider this to be one of the great things about the later stages of many games. You know, sometimes it happens earlier, but when there's far fewer people on the battlefield, your ability to drive around and help your teammates rises dramatically. And if it's not too one-sided, sometimes you can change the outcome in your favor. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Game over.